Imagine standing on the battlefields of Gaul, the scorching sands of Egypt, or the chilly frontiers of Britannia. What kept those legendary Roman legions marching, fighting, and ultimately conquering an empire that spanned continents and lasted for centuries? It wasn't just their superior tactics or their relentless discipline, it was something far more fundamental, yet often overlooked: their food. The diet of a Roman soldier was a meticulously planned, strategically vital component of Rome's military might, designed not just for survival, but for peak performance under extreme conditions. This isn't just about what they ate, but how their food shaped their very identity and enabled them to forge the greatest empire the ancient world had ever seen. Prepare to uncover the culinary secrets that fueled the Roman war machine. At the very heart of the Roman soldier's diet lay grain, primarily wheat and barley. This wasn't just a staple, it was the foundation upon which everything else was built. Each legionary was allocated a generous daily ration of approximately 850 to 1,000 grams of grain, a substantial amount that provided the caloric density needed for grueling marches and strenuous labor. This grain wasn't always consumed as bread, often, it was prepared as a hearty porridge known as pulse. Think of pulse as the ancient Roman equivalent of a power meal, simple, filling, and incredibly efficient for delivering sustained energy. The logistics of supplying such vast quantities of grain across a sprawling empire were an immense undertaking, a testament to Roman organizational genius. While grain was king, variety was crucial for health and morale. Roman soldiers supplemented their carb-heavy diet with a range of vegetables. Lentils, beans, onions, and garlic were common additions, providing essential nutrients and flavor. These vegetables were often cultivated in temporary gardens near camps or acquired through local foraging and purchases from nearby communities. Such additions weren't merely for taste, they were vital for preventing nutrient deficiencies that could cripple a legion. The ability to source and integrate fresh produce into their rations demonstrated a pragmatic understanding of nutrition long before the advent of modern dietary science. This diverse intake contributed significantly to their overall health and resilience. Protein, while perhaps not as dominant as grain, was still an important component. Meat, often in the form of pork, beef, or mutton, was consumed when available. However, fresh meat was a luxury, typically reserved for specific occasions, or when animals could be acquired locally. More commonly, soldiers relied on preserved meats like bacon or salted fish, which could be transported more easily and stored for longer durations. Additionally, cheese, a readily available and nutrient-dense food, provided another excellent source of protein and fat. This strategic mix of fresh and preserved proteins ensured that soldiers maintained their strength and muscle mass, even during prolonged campaigns far from home. The Roman soldier's diet wasn't just about survival, it was also about taste and morale. They utilized a variety of condiments and seasonings to make their often bland rations more palatable. Garum, a fermented fish sauce, was ubiquitous, adding a pungent, umami flavor to almost everything. Olive oil was another essential, providing fats and calories, and used in cooking or as a dressing. Herbs and spices, some locally sourced, others imported from distant lands, further enhanced their meals. These culinary touches, though seemingly minor, played a significant role in making the monotonous diet more enjoyable, boosting the soldiers' spirits and reinforcing a sense of normalcy amidst the hardships of military life. Water was, of course, absolutely critical, but soldiers also consumed wine. However, it wasn't the refined vintage we might imagine today. Instead, they drank pasca, a diluted, often soured wine mixed with water and sometimes vinegar. This wasn't merely for pleasure, pasca served a vital hygienic purpose. The acidity of the wine helped to purify questionable water sources, making it safer to drink and preventing waterborne diseases that could decimate a legion. Moreover, the electrolytes from the wine provided a mild energy boost and helped to combat fatigue, making pasca an ingenious and practical part of their daily hydration strategy, far more than just a drink. The logistical challenge of feeding an army of tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, across vast and varied terrains was monumental. Rome employed an incredibly sophisticated supply chain. Grain was often shipped by sea or river, then transported overland by mule trains and carts. Permanent garrisons maintained large granaries, or horia, capable of storing provisions for extended periods. When on campaign, the army would often forage, commandeer local resources, or purchase supplies from conquered territories. This complex network of supply lines and storage facilities was a marvel of ancient engineering and organization, demonstrating Rome's strategic foresight and administrative prowess, without which their conquests would have been impossible. Life on campaign meant rations could be incredibly sparse, but Roman soldiers were trained to be resourceful. They often carried iron rations, emergency supplies like hardtack or dried meat, that could sustain them when regular provisions ran out. Furthermore, foraging became a crucial skill. Soldiers would search for wild fruits, berries, edible roots, and even small game to supplement their diet. This self-sufficiency was ingrained in their training, ensuring that a legion could remain operational even when cut off from its supply lines. This adaptability, combined with their disciplined training, made them formidable opponents capable of enduring prolonged sieges and long marches through hostile territory. While the core diet was consistent, regional variations undoubtedly existed. A legion stationed in Egypt might have access to dates and different types of fish, while those in Britannia would consume more local game and root vegetables. The empire's vastness meant that local produce and customs inevitably influenced the soldiers' diets, especially in more settled garrisons. However, the fundamental principles of caloric intake, nutritional balance, and logistical feasibility remained paramount. These regional adaptations showcased the pragmatic nature of the Roman military, which was always willing to integrate local resources into its rigid structure, making the empire's sustenance both diverse and unified. The diet wasn't just about feeding individual soldiers, it was about fueling a collective, a fighting machine. The caloric intake of a Roman legionary was surprisingly high, estimated to be between 3,000 to 4,000 calories per day, sometimes even more during periods of intense activity. This high-energy diet was essential for their demanding physical regimen, which included carrying heavy armor and equipment, marching long distances, and engaging in intense combat training. Without this robust caloric input, the physical prowess and endurance that defined the Roman soldier simply would not have been possible, underscoring the direct link between nutrition and military might. Consider the health implications of such a diet. While not always balanced by modern standards, it was remarkably effective for its time. The high fiber content from grains, combined with vegetables, helped maintain digestive health. The preserved meats and cheeses provided essential fats and proteins. While dental wear and tear from coarse grains were common, major nutrient deficiencies were likely less prevalent than in civilian populations of the era, thanks to the sheer volume and planned diversity of their rations. This sustained nutritional support was a key factor in the Roman army's ability to maintain high operational readiness and reduce losses due to illness, granting them a significant advantage over less well-fed adversaries. The impact of the Roman soldiers' diet extended far beyond the battlefield. It shaped the very landscape of the empire. Agricultural practices were optimized to feed the legions, leading to advancements in farming techniques and infrastructure. The need for efficient transport spurred road building and port development. Furthermore, the introduction of Roman culinary practices, ingredients, and even dining customs spread throughout the conquered territories, leaving a lasting legacy on European cuisine. The humble daily meal of a legionary was, in essence, a building block of Roman civilization, a silent, powerful force that helped to consolidate power and spread influence across the known world. So, the next time you marvel at the grandeur of Roman architecture or the brilliance of their military campaigns, remember the often unseen hero behind it all, the daily diet of the Roman soldier. It was a testament to Roman ingenuity, discipline, and logistical mastery, a carefully crafted system of sustenance that allowed an army to conquer and hold an empire for centuries. From humble pulse to strategic supplies, every morsel played a role in forging the greatest fighting force of its time. This was more than just food, it was fuel for empire, a vital ingredient in the recipe for lasting power. Thank you for joining us on this culinary journey through ancient history. What other aspects of Roman life would you like us to explore?